Third, had seized momentum, and then all of a sudden Detroit got hot. What did you see there toward that third quarter?
I think we got a little fatigued, turned it over a couple times, and gave them a little momentum on the break. But I think us 3 and 4 nights. I think that might have taken a little bit of a toll, but that's not an excuse. But again, I think we wore down just a little bit. But I think we kept fighting towards the end. It was just wore down just a little bit.
Of course, the Wagner brothers played at Michigan. Mm-hmm. Both of them played well tonight. What did you see from both of them in different spurts?
Their competitive spirit, their drive, their will to win, their passing, their ability to make plays, make hard plays, tough plays. Again, their competitive spirit, and that showed out tonight.
This is the first game for Chuma Okeke. Mm-hmm. How do you think he looked? What is his conditioning like right now?
I think that's going to be, that's going to be ongoing, trying to make sure he works his way back in. I didn't want to extend him too much. But again, he's working his way to getting back, feeling comfortable out there with the guys and the rotations and who he's going to be on the court with. But I think he's going to work his way back, which is good.
All right, we're good, Joel.
Okay, Philip Rossman-Reich, Orlando Magic Daily.
Hey, Coach. What did you see there at the end of the third quarter? It really felt like the kind of energy drained out as Detroit made that run to take away the 7-point lead.
Yeah, I think that's a big portion of that was we ran out a little bit of steam. We ran out of steam. We used all the momentum to keep fighting in, fighting back, and then we get going. And I think we used a lot of that energy. So I think we'll just have to look at the film and see exactly where we could have done some things differently. But again, the guys they did their best to continue to fight.
Dan Savage, OrlandoMagic.com.
Coach, how pleased have you been with Jalen Suggs defensively? He really has seemed to take it to the end of the floor to start this season.
Well, he's got a tough matchup, on most nights. And so he's actually, taking on those challenges. Between he and Cole, they're really trying to step up and put pressure on these guards defensively. We talk about being physical, being aggressive early, disrupting teams. And we talk about them being the head of the stake. And Jalen's doing a good job of taking on that role.
Go ahead, Dan.
Coach, you saw Wendell Carter only played 3 minutes in the second half. Did something happen with him, or is that just a product of the back-to-back?
I think it's more of a product of the back-to-back. We have our rotation, how we're moving through this right now. We're going to have 3 and 4 nights. I want our guys to be healthy. I think that's the number one thing for us is being healthy, so we can compete at a high level, and so these guys can get better. But again, that was just a product of just, wanting to be careful and cautious and, make sure guys are going to be healthy as we go through this.
Kendra Douglas, West 2.
Hey, Coach, how much of a threat is it to have Mo and Franz playing together? They know each other. They know what you kind of now are knowing what you're getting yourself into with having 2 brothers on this team. What do they kind of add to this team, and how has it been playing with them together?
Well, they're both, like we said before, they're super competitive. They're finding any way they can to make the guys around them better, to make each other better, and just their competitive fight and their spirit is just so strong. And but both of them have high basketball IQ, so they're willing and trying to make the right play every time they're on the court.
Back to Philip Rossman-Reich.
Coach, you mentioned a little bit about the rotation plan that you may have had for both the season as well as the fatigue that might have played a factor in this game. But are you still getting a feel for which playing groups work well together? Are you still kind of experimenting a little bit out there with what you're looking to put out on the floor at different times? What's kind of going behind some of these rotation decisions right now?
Well, some of it is just, again, it's different rotations. We have certain guys coming back, and again, walking into back-to-backs, there's going to be different times that you play different minutes with different people. And I think just being cautious and conscious of that as games come about, that's what I'm looking at as well. Just seeing which lineups are best together, but also looking at some of the schedule and how we're walking into some of these games.
Okay, back to Dan Savage, OrlandoMagic.com.
Coach, we got our first look at Michael Mulder at the end there. What has stood out to you about him since he's joined this team?
Well, he's a worker. He's high basketball IQ. And again, he shoots the ball very well. You know, I know how Detroit understands who he was, so they're closing out to him, you know, making sure they run him off the line. But again, he's a guy that can make shots. He's a guy that, you know, is just going to willing to and wanting to make the right play with his teammates, and he's going to continue to work.
Thank you, Coach Mosley.
Thank you, guys.
Teams have taken control of that early part of the third quarter, but then suddenly things kind of got away from the. Was it just defensive lapses, or what actually caused some of those breakdowns?
I think first half was more offensive rebounding. I think we're really lucky that we're in the game rebounding so poorly. And then second half, it was a lot of turnovers, I think. Like in the earlier games, just they're playing really physical defense, and that kind of took us out of our game. And yeah, so we had a lot of live ball turnovers that led to easy points, and then they also hit a couple shots, which, you know, you can live with. But if you do those mistakes, offensive rebounds in the first half, and then all those turnovers, it's going to be really hard to win.
This is your first professional game in the state of Michigan. Of course, you played at Michigan in college. Did you mean anything extra special playing this arena tonight?
I mean, it was cool to see some friends that I went to college with. They came to the game, and hear some fans heckling or either heckling or screaming "Go Blue," but it wasn't necessarily super special. It was just cool to see some familiar faces.
At this stage, obviously it's early in your career, but do you feel like you're further along on offense or defense at this particular stage of your career?
I think on defense, not saying that I don't have a lot of room to improve there too, but I think offensively, there's a lot more things that I can do a lot better, and that I'm going to continue to work on. And I think offense in general is more creative, and you know, that kind of needs more room to improve, I think. So I'd say offense is where I have to improve a little more.
I know you've had some opportunities in kind of like a point forward role, but do you see yourself long term kind of taking on more of those responsibilities as far as the playmaking and kind of orchestrating the offense if necessary?
I mean, I want to be ready for it. Depends on how good I can be, and also what kind of situation I'm going to be in the future. But I want to be prepared for whatever you know, coaches want me to do, and so that requires playmaking too, and obviously shooting the ball and stuff like that. But yeah, I just want to be prepared for those moments.
Go ahead, Joel.
Philip Rossman Reich, Orlando Magic Daily.
Hey, Franz, obviously we've seen that starting group play really well together. But it's been kind of the case where they come back in maybe with a little bit of a deficit. How difficult is it to come back into the game, you know, facing a deficit and have to try and climb back uphill, especially in that fourth quarter?
Yeah, I mean, once players have confidence, it's really tough to, you know, get kind of the momentum back and in your favor. I think the best way to do that is to just play solid, take care of the ball, and you know, force difficult shots on defense. But you gotta give them credit. I think we want to throw them a little bit off with our zone, and they did a good job finding open shooters and also some open dunks at the rim. But yeah, it's really difficult to get that momentum back.
Dan Savage, OrlandoMagic.com.
Franz, as a young player who's learning the game as well, you know, and plays hard defensively, what stood out to you about Jalen Suggs as a defender? You know, he seems to get tough assignments every night and is still up for the challenge.
No, I mean, I think Jalen, especially in a game like this, you know, a lot of people tired. It's easy to just lock out mentally, and Jalen, especially at the start of that second half, I think he kind of led us, and with his energy and his passion, especially on that defensive end, I think he has so much energy out there, and you know, on defense that carries over and helps everybody else too. So really impressive. He's a great competitor and really good on that end.
Back to Philip Rossman Reich.
I know you guys don't want to use this as an excuse, but your introduction to the NBA pretty early on was a five games and 7 nights. How are you feeling after that, and what has that been as an introduction to this league?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not easy adjusting to it, but I'm doing my best. It's just taking care of your body when you have the time. I mean, you really know that basketball is a full-time job, and it's not just when you pull up to the game. It's really before that. Sleeping right, eating right, So all that can impact your performance. So I felt pretty good out there. Obviously a little bit more tired than last night, but I was ready to play, I think, tonight.
All right. Thank you, Franz.
Thank you, guys.
Your first game since last April, how did you feel out there? What's your conditioning like?
When I first went up and down a little bit, I was tired on the first look. I forgot what it's called, whatever it is. But yeah, after the second win, I was good after that.
So during your rehab, while you were working in the gym, what were the key things that you were working on to kind of build your foundation as far as your offensive and defensive skill sets?
When I work out, I really work on every part of my game. My defensive closeouts, slides, staying with my man, my offense, post work, shooting off the dribble, shooting off the catch. I really just try to work on my all-around game.
What has Coach Mosley told you as far as how he's hoping to incorporate you in the team as far as working your way back from injury and trying to get yourself more acquainted with your teammates and so forth?
Yeah, we just gonna take everything one day at a time, one step at a time, one game at a time. Just go out there and play hard, and just do whatever the team needs me to do, and then that's where we're just gonna leave it at that.
When you were watching from the sidelines, what were the key things that you noticed from your team, both offensively and defensively? Anything that really stood out to you as far as where you guys can really thrive?
Yeah, when we push the ball and when we move the ball and make the defense shift multiple times, that's when we have really good offensive possessions. But when we have the ball on one side of the floor for a while, that's when we become stagnant, and that's when we have to force up shots, or that's when the shot clock comes into play. But when we get everybody involved and we play together and play at a fast pace or with some pace, then we always look good.
Go ahead, Joel.
Philip Rossman-Reich, Orlando Magic Daily.
Hey, Chuma, how excited were you to just be back out there tonight?
I was real excited, nervous and excited, but this was the first game, and it's a good game to build off of, coming off of a loss like that.
Go ahead, Philip.
Just kind of on that point, you were in the game during that run in the third quarter. What did you feel happened with the team during that period of the game?
Just turnovers. Even I started it off, my turnover, and then after my turnover, it was another turnover, and then that just builds up. So when we just have turnover like that, it's going to be hard to win against teams, because everybody in this league is talented and everybody's smart. So I just gotta take care of the ball, and we as a group got to take care of the ball too.
All right, thank you, Chuma.